Where Doge cut critical services and ended up costing taxpayers $135 billion, Zoran did it the right way. You know what was really trendy in 2025? Waste, fraud, and abuse. There was a whole agency dedicated to finding waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's unfortunate that they weren't able to solve any. You know who did? Zoran Mamdani. In his 6 weeks in office alone, he was able to find $7 billion in savings. So Eric Adams left a $12 billion debt. He didn't overspend by accident. He wrote lower numbers on his balance sheets every year just to make the budget look good. And one of the first things Zoran did to solve this was to add a chief savings officer to every agency in the city. Their job was to cut the fat and to keep the muscle. Where Doge cut critical services and ended up costing taxpayers $135 billion, Zoran did it the right way. He audited every contract, every program, and every vendor deal. For example, he found $600,000 in savings from an AI chatbot program that never ended up working. Then he was able to close another $3 billion in the gap because of errors in tax revenue reporting. Eric Adams reported the Wall Street revenue making much less than it actually did, which means less taxes coming into New York City. When Zoran's team ran the numbers, Wall Street had a record year. Acknowledging Wall Street's big year in revenue meant more income tax money for the city, closing this deficit. It didn't stop there. He was able to find another $1.5 billion that was owed to us by the state of New York. See, Albany's quietly been shifting its obligations away from New York City for years. Programs that Albany is supposed to fund, like youth services, public health, and sales tax receipts, were being handed to the city with no money attached to actually run these programs. Zoran, if you're seeing a pattern here, made that information public and demanded that Albany give the money New York City was owed. And poof, Hochul found $1.5 billion, lowering the deficit to what we now estimate to be $12 billion to $5.4 billion. So we were able to cut $7 billion with no major infrastructure, no major social services cut. Wonder why Doge couldn't do that. Now, if you're asking how are we going to cover that last $5.4 billion, it involves taxing the rich. And it's something that the state legislature has already approved. There's just one person blocking it, and that's the governor that's up for re-election this year, Kathy Hochul. So if you have a problem with it, I think you know how to make your voice heard.